Hey there, this is Bryson with Dimes for Dollars, and today I've got a new kind of hunt. I have all the wheat cents that I've ever found, and I am planning on putting them all in one of these tubes. Got 100 tubes here. I don't know how many I'll be able to fill, or if I'll probably even need more, but I'll get these all sorted and I'll bring you in once I get them all dispersed. Alright, well I am back, and it has been a couple days since I started this project. Finally got all the wheat pennies sorted from 1940 to 1955 San Francisco. I have this whole tub of 56 through 58 wheat pennies that I'll search through separately, but there are so many of them I didn't want to take up all this extra space I have. I want to keep growing on that one, so I kept them in that one. I also brought out my teens, 20s, and 30s wheat pennies because I'm going to do an error search. I also wanted to mention I have some shiny wheat pennies. Some of them are cleaned, but a lot of them are in really nice shape. So I'll pull one out and I'll open it up for you, and we can see what I'm talking about. They're not pristine shiny, but they are nice. And it's always nice to put some aside that have a nice luster to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I have a list of errors I'm going to look for. Most notably the 41 Philadelphia double die, and there's a few other ones in there that we'll get to. Hopefully we'll find something. We have a whole lot of wheat pennies to look through, so I'm really excited to get into it. Let's get started. If I find anything, I'll bring you right back in. Alright, well I'm back with what could possibly be my first find. It's 1935 right here. You can see the doubling in the 9, the 3, the 5, and a little bit in the 1. And on PCGS we have one exactly the same doubling in the 9, the 3, and the 1. So I believe this is a 1935 DDO FS101. If we look down here, it's a pretty scarce coin. You don't see too many of these errors, so that's super exciting. I'm really thrilled to find something. I rarely ever find errors like this, especially in the pre-40s. I'm not sure about the condition. I'd say it's probably VF20 at the most, but still, that's a $38 coin if graded, so that's super exciting. And let's get on with the hunt. We just hunted through the whole roll of 1941s that we got, and I'm happy to say that we actually got an error out of it. Super cool one too. You can see it in all the motto, "In God We Trust." You can see it right there in U, a little bit in the R, and in the T, as well as the rest of the motto. Now, how I found this was I went to PCGS and I looked at their coins on their error list, and you can see the same doubling right there on that U, on the R, on the T, on the W and E, and in the rest of the motto too. It's really cool. I rarely ever see errors, so it's always fun when I see something. As far as value is concerned, this is a kind of rough wheat penny, but even in fine 12 to very fine 20, it's still 55 to 60 bucks. I'll take that all day. That is awesome. Let's keep on with the hunt, and hopefully we'll find some more. Well, it may have just happened again. We may have just found another error here. This one is the 1946 S over D, and you can see it right there where the D used to be. They actually punched a mint mark over it. If you look on PCGS, they have the same thing. There's a little lip right there above that middle part of the S, and you can see the same thing on this one. So that's super exciting. So let's keep hunting. We've got more errors to look for in these 1946 S's. Maybe we'll get lucky again. Well, indeed we did. We got another 1946 S error. We got a 1946S inverted mint mark FS501, and you can really distinguish it by the gap in the S right there. You can see that there's a gap right at the bottom, and if you look carefully enough, it looks like it was upside down and inverted. So yeah, you can see it, the same thing here, same spot. It's actually supposed to be the other way, as far as I believe. So that's super exciting that we actually got one. And if you look at PCGS, this is a kind of rare error to find. Yeah, the auction record was 468. Obviously we don't have that. This is a brown one, and you can sort over here to brown, which is what we have. And if it'll load the PCGS population here, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 graded in brown. So that's really cool. It's very rare, actually. As far as I'm concerned, I don't believe there's too many of them. So that's epic. Let's look at this penny. If you look at the wheat ears, it's actually in really good shape. You can see full definition in both wheat ears. It's actually, I'd say it's maybe XF40. You never know. Let me know if you think this should be graded. I'm not very familiar with errors, but I know this isn't a very common error from the PCGS population in a quick eBay search. So either way, that's really awesome. Really glad to have it. We still have lots of errors to look for, so hopefully maybe we'll find something else. We have lots of wheat pennies left to go. Alright, we may have just found 2 more errors, both 1949 S's, and they have doubling right there and right there at the bottom of the 1. This is the 1949S DDO FS101, and you can see the doubling right there underneath the 1 again, and right on top of the 4. I also went to Variety Vista, which also lists the same things that I've been seeing. The 19 of the date right there, and the top of the 4. So I believe we may have found 1, possibly 2 of the same thing. Right here we have this one, which is the better of the 2, and then we have the second one here, which also seems to be just a slightly more circulated condition. So I'm really excited to have that. I believe those 2 are both errors, which is really exciting because they're also a slightly more rare error to find, especially for a wheat penny. So if we look at it in brown, there really isn't that many. There's only 2, and they're both in AU58. So that's really exciting. Barely any out there. So let's keep hunting. Alright, we're now further along in the hunt, and they're not major errors by any means, but we found 2 wheat pennies that have minor errors on them. We have a filled D right there. The D has extra material that probably broke off the die when minted, so kind of neat. Same thing with this 1952D. I don't think it gives it too much extra value, but it's still a pretty cool find. So let's keep hunting. Maybe we'll find something else, and I'll bring you back in if we do. Well, that's going to do it for this hunt. For all the errors that we looked for, we went through all of these rolls, and we went through all of this tin. All the 56 through 58s, we looked for the double die obverse on the 58 and the D over D on the 1956, but we didn't find anything. Now, as for errors, we got quite a few. We got 2 filled mint marks. They're not really errors, but they kind of are, so it's cool to see those. And we got 6 major errors here. We got 2 49S double die obverse FS101s. Super cool. We have a 46 S over D over mint mark, and we have a 46S inverted mint mark. We got a 35 DDO FS101, and we got a 1941 DDO FS102. I'm super happy with the amount of errors we found in all these rolls that we looked through, but it's definitely worth the search that we did. I probably spent about 6 to 8 hours searching through all these wheat pennies, sorting them out by date and mint mark. And I'm sure there's a few that are the wrong mint mark, maybe a D in the S tubes or a S in the D tubes. But I'm sure I'll figure that out when more errors come out. Either way, it was a whole lot of fun. We got 6 errors out of this. I got to sort out the shiny wheat pennies from the rest. We had a whole roll of 36 S's from a recent purchase. So that was really cool. I definitely plan on filling up these 2 tubes with wheat pennies that I come across in the next hunts, and when I get them filled, I'll probably have another hunt like this. So anyways, this hunt was a lot of fun. I finally got all these wheat pennies sorted. That's been a big task for me for a long time. I'm glad to finally get it done. It's a good way to end the year. So anyways, if you like this, like rating, of course, be awesome. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.